Welcome to episode 3 of Malaise 2026. Our first match is going to be between Baytwotta and Lucario. Looks like they're going to be on Brinstar. Or is it Norfair? I always get them mixed up. Well, I guess I didn't used to, but now I do. I believe this is Brinstar. Locking it in. Final answer. I guess I have to wait till editing to see if I'm right. So this is going to be a little bit of a tough match for Bayonetta. Oh, okay, she was able to recover there. I guess it would have been a really tough match if she immediately killed herself. So, Baytwotta, usually all the amiibo who make it this far into the post-season losers bracket, they have a hard time finishing off their opponent. Alright, Baytwotta's going to have a really tough match because she killed herself. So the reason I was trying to mention why it's going to be a tough match is that the amiibo who make it this far have a hard time killing their opponent. Lucario has this unique aura mechanic, which basically makes him stronger the longer he goes without dying. So when against an amiibo who has a hard time securing the kills, he does especially well because he just gets stronger. Bayonetta was able to recover that time. There are a couple of Bayonetta recovery techs that I don't think the amiibo AI knows how to use. Baytwotta really loving those down smashes. Now that Lucario's at a high enough percent, she probably should go for an up smash, maybe a forward smash instead. Just because intrinsically the down smash, especially since she keeps hitting it at the top of the move. Wow, that killed. I mean, Lucario had a lot of rage and a lot of aura. And it was on a pretty high up platform, but still, that was pretty low percentage for a kill to be happening at. Baytwotta goes low, doesn't kill herself this time. Always an achievement. Back throw is not Bayonetta's kill throw. I believe her forward throw is her killing throw. Third hit of up tilt, that's not a kill move, and Lucario's at a high enough percent that Baytwotta is actually going to have a hard time getting a lot of her comboing moves to hit. Down air actually doesn't kill. And Baytwotta going for the bullet extension, getting hit in the head for it. And it looks like that's the match. Well, good job, Lucario. You absolutely dominated, which means you've earned your right to be out of the tournament. And for this match, we're going to be having Mythra against Chrom. Going to be on big battlefield for this one. If they're starting off with a combo, actually ending, oh, not even ending yet. Alright, I guess she ends with a tech roll, so technically the combo ended, but it could have gone even further. Chrom put off stage, and he successfully makes it back. Does not go for an up smash though. Chrom's up smash lasts long enough that it can definitely hit opponents who are trying to use the invincibility of the neutral get-up animation. So big battlefield being a little bit of a larger stage, I would say it slightly favors Chrom simply because Chrom certainly has enough attack power to kill Mythra from pretty much anywhere on stage. Now Mythra can as well if she switches to Pyra. She's actually switched back and forth twice this match. Not entirely sure why. But she did get a move out on Pyra, I believe, at least. But if Mythra knows to use Pyra for the kill potential, then she shouldn't be struggling too much. However, if she doesn't, then she might have a difficult time on this stage. Especially since when you normally kill opponents as Mythra, there are a couple of combos or setups you can do. Turns out those are a little bit harder than just switching to Pyra and hitting a random down air. So that's why you don't see those super often, but it does exist. Mythra can actually kill opponents. It's just Pyra's so great at it. Yep, up smash at the platform. Definitely enough knockback there. Funny little dash dance going on. That's something that the amiibo do, and I'm not entirely sure why, especially since that's not something I've done in training against them. I think it's some sort of quirk of the system. Unless, you know, some rogue programmer just snuck that in there to make amiibos and CPU opponents every once in a while just dash dance. If anything, I've noticed it happens slightly more often on some of the less standard stages. Already a lot has to go into the AI for these amiibo in order to make them function. And I'm pretty sure part of that includes some sort of stage-specific logic on some level. I don't know how extensive it would have to be, but it has to exist for things like how to avoid stage hazards and how to not fall into a pit. Mythra did not grab the ledge there. There was a brief window of time when you're getting hit that you can't grab the ledge. But normally in that situation, you try to hold in towards the stage so you could bounce off of it and not get spiked to your death. Also, you don't want to try to attack Chrom off stage from that specific angle, because that very specific angle will get you spiked into the bottom blast zone. Raw forward smash is going to kill Chrom from the center of the screen. Mythra seems to be doing a lot better when she switches to Pyra, strangely enough. And her recovery got beat out again. Chrom getting 2 out of 2 kills by just trying to recover to the stage, which is kind of the Chrom amiibo standard. He can kill people other ways, however, he's just so good at accidentally killing his opponent while trying to survive. Forward throw at the ledge. Chrom gets a footstool. Pyra's able to make it back. That was almost the match. Chrom going for a counter. You usually don't see the amiibos go for that. Now, Chrom is at the range where a random Pyra forward smash will kill him. And Mythra just switched to Mythra to make sure that won't happen, I guess. Late hit of down air, not enough to kill Chrom yet. He actually got his down air out first. That's not usually a great move to land with. I mean, obviously, if you can hit your opponent, then go nuts, but usually you can't. Alright, now Pyra is starting to approach the percent where she has to worry about getting killed herself. Especially now that she's switched to Mythra. Oh, she's back to Pyra. And an up tilt's gonna do it. The announcer says Pyra, but it's the Mythra amiibo, I assure you. And for this match, we're going to be having Richter against Pichu. Looks like we're going to be on Castle Siege for this one. Since stage hazards are off, we won't be having the transformations for this stage. Richter tried to go for an axe there, but Pikachu fell on him too fast. It's a little tough, simply because the axe, I believe it gets thrown at pretty close to a 45-degree angle. And if a player knows what they're doing, they're going to approach you at literally any other angle. Specifically so they don't get hit by the axe. Richter going for a very up-close forward smash there. I don't think it can actually hit below the ledge that close. Oh, and Richter got his recovery stifled. So a down-angled forward smash from Richter can hit characters who are hanging below the ledge. However, due to geometry, wow, these amiibo seem to love playing in the bottom right corner of the screen. You actually don't see it too much. As you can see, the castle wall actually starts getting in the way. Most characters don't have too much business hanging out that far next to the blast zone. and also below the ledge that, well, it definitely does happen. Normally it's just too risky. Although, interestingly enough, it's a reason why this stage gets banned in a lot of tournaments. Because every once in a while, some characters do play that low down. Usually characters with great recoveries, of course. And then it can be difficult to see what's going on. But also, there are certainly other stages where if you're playing in an obtuse corner of the screen, it's also difficult to see what's going on. Pichu going for the intentional self-damage strategy. Normally you'd see that on a character like Lucario, who could benefit by taking extra damage, instead of just releasing a Thunder Jolt while you're on a platform and it's not going to hit your opponent. I'm sure there are other cases where it could somehow be beneficial, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. Richter being a little reckless with... Okay, so he was full shielding that fully charged up smash. The problem with that is that, so as you hold out your shield, it actually loses health over time. As you can see, it's indicated by the size of the shield. So if your opponent's threatening you with a smash attack and you keep holding out your shield, you will be losing shield health while your opponent's smash attack, which presumably you're trying to block, will be getting steadily stronger. Which, depending on the move and how much shield health you had beforehand, can often lead to a shield break. That time Richter actually got a shield poke. One of the multi-hits hit Richter without hitting his shield. A lot more likely with multi-hit moves. Great strategy for playing online. Find an obscure multi-hit move that most people don't know how many hits it has and just spam it relentlessly. It won't shield poke people, but they will let up their shield early. Gets you a lot of free damage. And then you get high enough in the global Smash power rankings that suddenly people know how to deal with the move, and then you start to struggle a lot. Both characters making it back to stage. Richter going aggressively off stage with a forward air that I don't think could have hit. Goes for a grab, doesn't get punished. Up special actually killing Pichu. That move has a hard time killing a lot of characters on a lot of stages, but I guess the upper blast down on this one was just quick enough. And of course, Pichu's lightest character in the game. And here we have Toon Link against me, Swordfighter. Going to be on Jungle Japes for this one. And both amiibo are suddenly struggling to hit each other with their swords. The Swordfighter grabs the bomb, knows to throw it away before it explodes in his hand. And are they both going to die? Nope. Me, Swordfighter, has just enough recovery to escort them both back up to the stage. I was worried there when they were both trying to lick the bottom blast zone to see what it tasted like. Back air barely not killing me, Swordfighter. I guess there was a little bit of space there, but a combo that close to the side of the screen, that is one of the many hazards of that particular rock. It's low down, it's far out. Back throw actually just barely killing me, Swordfighter. Toon Link does have the killing back throw. Well, I guess more than one throw can kill, but usually his back throw is the first killing throw that you'll see. And both amiibos seem to like just jumping around each other. Just a whole bunch of stray hits. A clash there, that's something. Toon Link holding a bomb, can't wait to find out what purpose. He avoided damaging himself with the bomb. Take what you can get here in Malaise. The Swordfighter not dying to that. The me Swordfighter custom... I'm sorry, did me Swordfighter just jump off to their death? Okay, so the me Swordfighter's custom moves were chosen specifically to give them the most recovery All of the Mii's actually had that. And they messed it up at 0%. Alright. Well, I can't give him even more recovery. I tried. That brings us to Zero Suit Samus against Ken. Going to be on Midgar for this match. Ken escaping a combo with the down air. That's actually a pretty hard move to escape a combo with. Obviously, it's easier if your opponent is below you, but normally it wouldn't be my first choice. Especially because the range on it is so small, and sometimes when you're being comboed, it can be hard to tell which side of the opponent you're going to be on, since it hits in front of him only if the opponent isn't there. And gets put off stage. Zero Suit Samus threatened an edge guard, didn't go for one. Up smash, not killing yet. Ken is having a hard time getting anything done, mostly because he's been spending most of his time this match getting kicked in the head. Zero Suit Samus is just going in very aggressively. And landing a lot of combos for him, but Ken goes for 2 jabs and then nothing. That's especially bad because Ken, like the other Street Fighter character, Ryu, they both have this special property where they can cancel their special moves. Great back air by Zero Suit, by the way. They can cancel their normal moves into their special moves. And that has some interesting implications. For one thing, it does mean that whenever they jab an opponent, they can actually immediately cancel it into a special move, and usually their special moves are better, well, more damaging than their final jab hitbox. And also, depending on which special move you get, I don't believe it works with down special, but it works with the other 3. You actually get a move, well, that can kill. So, sure, you can kill Ryu's tornado kick. I believe it's called the Tatsumaki Senpukyu. I might be pronouncing that funny, though. So Ryu's version can kill. Ken's is more of a comboing move. Great tech from Zero Suit there. Actually got some extra damage off on Ken as a result. And then neutral special, the Hadouken, it's the fireball that everyone thinks of when they think about a karate guy shooting a fireball. Ooh, last hitbox, just clipping Zero Suit. Well, I'm sure it can kill. First of all, it doesn't kill at the ridiculous percents that Shoryuken can kill at. If it does kill, it would probably be in an edge guarding an opponent, or if they're close to the side of the screen. Otherwise, you're mostly just using it for extra damage. Ken recovering past the ledge. Going for the focus attack. Zero Suit Samus didn't want to have anything to do with that, it would seem. Zero Suit Samus is actually a tougher opponent to use focus attack on. So it has a unique armor property. At least I think it's unique. I don't know if anyone else has the same thing. So there is, I believe, either a damage or knockback threshold. I forget which, but... Oh, I thought Zero Suit was going to get hit there. I don't remember which threshold it is. It's not infinite armor, as far as I know. But it's not nearly as important as the threshold you're going to be hitting a lot more often, which is when you get hit twice, it cancels your focus attack. So it can effectively armor one hit, as long as it's not, you know, like a one-hit KO move, which is already its own debacle on what actually counts as a one-hit KO in Smash Brothers. However, Zero Suit Samus is a pretty tough character to use focus attack on because she has so many multi-hitting moves. I mean, already her up special is a multi-hitting move in and of itself. You've seen her forward air, which is a double kick. And if both of those kicks connect on your focus attack, then you just don't get to use it. Really brutal angle for Zero Suit to get sent at. She was at a very high percent. Zero all of a sudden struggling on this last stock. Doesn't get the back hit of neutral air. You don't see that too often. Jumping high, higher than Ken can realistically pressure her from. Zero Samus has a very high and quick jump. Back here, that might... Nope, Ken had his jump. Taking a lot of hits from Zero Suit, and she was just trying to recover back to the stage. She was still comboing him. Jumping around his shield, which is making it a little difficult, it would appear. So the Street Fighter characters also have a property called Auto Turnaround. There's actually a couple other characters with the property as well. So if you know about it, then basically it means you can, if someone's jumping near your shield, you can just up smash and your character will, in a 1v1, automatically turn around to hit them. However, I don't believe the amiibo has been, well, this Ken amiibo knows about that trait, to be quite honest. I mean, it seems like a lot of work to program something, especially since it shouldn't actually change how the character controls usually. Zero Suit Samus trying to pressure Ken off stage, and the forward smash near the ledge didn't seem to kill. I'm pretty sure that's going to kill. Ken's not going to be able to make that back. Zero Suit panicking the audience by going that far off stage unnecessarily. However, she didn't, and that's going to take her out of the running for being the worst amiibo this year, at least. And for our next match, we're going to be having Pikachu against Kirby Classic. Looks like we're going to be on Pokemon Stadium for this match. Pikachu getting first blood with a forward air. And almost a combo, not quite. 33 unanswered damage from Pikachu. Kirby finally getting an answer with an up air. Kirby loving the late hitbox of his up air. Gets Pikachu off stage. So normally when you see Kirby go for an inhale near the ledge, they're trying to jump off the stage. People have called it Kirby side because, well, you get your opponent in your enormous maw, take them off stage while they're in your stomach, and then since Kirby has so many jumps, he can usually recover from a much greater distance than the opponent can. Pikachu's actually a character that he'd have a hard time doing it on, to be quite honest. Just because Pikachu has a very large reach and recovery. And Kirby just reading the landing 3 times in a row, getting an up smash kill. Down air to down smash, the Kirby amiibo special. Kirby's already gotten Pikachu to a higher percent than what he was at. Tech rolls in. That would probably be a situation when a tech in place would have been safer. You might still have gotten punished, just because I think Pikachu's fast enough that there isn't too much you could have done to avoid every punish. Pikachu not getting sent to the blast zone. Also not able to two-frame Kirby. The Pikachu amiibo seems to really know how to get the maximum distance of those quick attacks. Something I always worry about with human opponents, actually, because if you mess up the timing ever so slightly, it just totally destroys your recovery. I'm actually pretty sure that's why most other recoveries have gotten a lot more lenient in their requirements. Pikachu being one of the first characters in the game before things had been finalized, and Kirby just got the second stock without losing one of his own first. Pikachu needs to find a way to kill Kirby here. Thunderbolt spam at least keeps his percentage up above the auto heal threshold. Forward air's not going to be killing yet. Up air also won't kill. Kirby keeps recovering very high, seeming to forget that Pikachu has a down special that spawns a hitbox incredibly high up. It actually used to be even more dangerous in previous games because the thunder... So it spawns a thunder cloud that shoots a thunder bolt out of it. And I'm still not sure if either of those are the actual name of the move. But it used to send you at an upwards angle. And what people quickly found out, I mean, me included, I guess, is that if your opponent's very high up near the top of the screen, you can just press down special to knock them into the blast zone and kill them. Because they were already practically in the blast zone, and if you receive any... I'm not sure if it needs to be any knockback pointed towards the blast zone or any knockback in general. It's usually pretty hard to get knockback away from the blast zone while you're in it. And this, of course, only applies to the upper blast zone, which is the only blast zone you can actually enter without dying. And even then, if you're past the blast zone borders and then you receive the knockback, then you just instantly die anyway. Up smash will be taking the match. Which means Kirby Classic has successfully knocked himself out of the tournament. And now we have Bayonetta against Sheik. So this is probably going to be a pretty long match, especially because they're on big battlefield. Because both of these amiibo have the same problem. They both have a hard time killing their opponents. They do have combos, and they seem to be able... at least they're okay at racking up damage on the opponent. And both of these characters are actually, in general... Well, okay, so Sheik is probably most known to be the character that's hardest to actually get KOs with. There are methods, but you have to learn those methods, and that's not something we can teach the amiibo. I mean, you know, I've tried. But complex combos, which Sheik might not be needing if she can just land an infinite amount of up airs. Up smash, that's actually one of Sheik's killing moves. Problem is the hitbox is very small, you usually need to combo into it in order to hit the opponent. Either that or get lucky and hit your opponent while they're on a platform. But even then, there are ways to combo them into the platform. Bayonetta barely not getting killed off the top there. Forward smash not hitting Sheik. Down smash not as well. She got the ledge invincibility from grabbing the ledge. Some people don't know, but if you grab the ledge, you get a brief window of invincibility. If you successfully grab the ledge, of course. And get-up options also have invincibility on them. It does get more complicated, though, because if you grab the ledge and then fall off and re-grab the ledge before your feet touch ground, solid ground, then you lose that invincibility. So that's why we call it a re-grab, because they re-grab the ledge without refreshing their invincibility timer. There's a couple other factors in there, too. Alright, 2 minutes in, both characters over 100, and no one's died. Bayonetta getting clipped by an incredibly weird hitbox of up smash. It obviously worked, got the kill. Up smash, not quite tall enough to hit the second tier of platforms. It is an enormous fist, but it's not that enormous of a fist. Sheik starts going for the infinite up air chain that Bayonetta seemed to be struggling with earlier. Forward smash, too slow to come out, getting hit out first. She goes for down air on the platform, which does get her hit by the enormous uppercut. Bayonetta with an intimidating approach option, but not a particularly effective one. Again, going for these... Bayonetta keeps going for these smash attacks at an up-close range, which is a problem because Sheik is one of the quickest, most agile characters in the game. There are actually some characters who are slow enough that they actually struggle to get a hit in. For some reason, the Belmonts especially, they do have, since they have range to outrange Sheik, but Sheik is so fast, she just runs up to them and hits them with knockback before any of their moves come out. It's not an impossible matchup, but it feels really bad for the Belmont player. And Bayonetta keeps going for these up smashes. I guess when she just keeps shielding them, it'll work. Escaping a combo with an up air. And the amiibo seem to be really good at the unintuitive combo escape moves. Sheik learning that when you shield the smash attack, you have to do something afterwards. Otherwise, you're just going to get hit by more. Sheik trying to have fun with a grenade there, but it's a difficult move to set up, because usually you use it for ledge trapping, because that's when your opponent's forced to have to go through it. Otherwise, it takes long enough to come out that your opponent can either just not run at you, or they can jump over it or something. Bayonetta getting a full combo on Sheik there. I mean, I guess full is maybe a relative term, but as far as the character Bayonetta is capable of, up air's going to be taking that stock. Retaliating immediately with an up smash. Alright, these characters have 3 minutes to kill each other, which I think means they actually will, if everything goes how it has been. Someone will be losing their last stock before super sudden death. Up smash almost putting the percentages at even again. Sometimes Smash Brothers is not a game about who hits the opponent more, but about who hits the opponent harder. Suddenly they can't hit each other. Oh, Bayonetta got a neutral air out. Up close forward smash, getting hit by a quick back air is punishment. Bayonetta trying to go for the intimidating, slowly walking at the opponent technique, which is actually a technique that normally works out well for the amiibo, because walking actually leaves you more actionable than running. Forward smash is going to be taking that game, which means that Bayonetta got herself out of the tournament. We'll be seeing Sheik next round. And for the last match of this round, we're going to be having Mr. Game & Watch against Mario. Going to be on Brinstar for this one. Norfair? Oh, I always forget. I think I've already said that this video too. Not looking good for my mental health. Mario with an air dodge, able to recover. He did successfully B-reverse the recovery. Mario's recovery can be a little tricky to B-reverse, specifically because it can also be angled. So it can be difficult to get the B-reverse and the correct angling of it out at the same time. Well, it's actually not the same time, it's one after the other. But because the inputs are so close together, it can be difficult to not mess it up. Falling up air as catches Mr. Game & Watch jumping from the ledge. I guess you learn something new every day. I mean, obviously, I guess I knew it was possible, but no one ever goes for it, because why would they? And, oh, just raw up air killing Mr. Game & Watch off the top. Mr. Game & Watch with almost no damage on Mario to show for it. Getting spiked onto the stage, Mario kept his jump. He didn't even die for that. I thought he might have. And the amiibo are having a staring contest. This is not to Mario's benefit, because Mr. Game & Watch is just auto-healing. Oh, are they going to break out of this? Alright, they suddenly decided to start playing the game again. That's good, but... well, it's good that they decided to start playing again. I didn't realize the amiibo could break so hard on this stage. I know this stage has given us troubles in the past, but normally it's actually because the amiibo have a hard time grabbing the ledges. Other than that, with the hazards off, it's actually a pretty normal stage, other than, of course, the weird platform layout. I hope that's not... if that keeps happening, then we might have to take it out of the pre-season stage rotation. Okay. It might be taken out of the preseason list because of this. That is unfortunate, because staged variety is one of the best strengths of the preseason stage list. I don't think there's too many other stages I could try to swap in for this one. Alright, Mr. Game & Watch healing to full and then deciding to go in. I guess it was the most opportune time. Interesting how this hasn't come up with other amiibo. Mr. Game & Watch air dodging onto the platform. It can be risky to air dodge towards the ledge because if you miss, you often just die as a result. Down throw to up special combo. I didn't know that could combo. Granted, I think it's also because Mario has such... Well, he has a lot of combos out of his up air, usually into another up air, which I think you can see how that naturally leads into people getting hit by like 5 up airs in a row if each up air combos into the next. Mario only getting 2 up airs that time. This Game & Watch pressuring from below the platforms. That's actually the kind of technique that if the amiibo were to consistently do would it get the stage banned. It is stuff like that, which is why this is not a tournament acceptable stage. Mario's delaying his getup so he didn't get hit by the down smash. And just standing there getting hit by the dash attack, by the getup attack. A little shameful. If nothing else, you usually go by the ledge and use shield so that if your opponent tries to use the getup attack, you can use an out of shield option on them. It's actually more effective than most other situations where you'd use an out of shield option, specifically because most getup attacks are slow, and I'm pretty sure they might even be especially punishable on shield. It might just be because of their slowness, or it could be a very slow shield hit stun modifier. Moves do have... There's a lot of variables that actually have to go into every single move in this game. But yes, if the balance team ever decides, they can decide that a move is incredibly punishable on shield or incredibly not punishable. But in general, there's actually a normalized formula, which I believe is so they don't have to put in values for every single move in the game. And a spike is going to take Mr. Game & Watch from the top of the screen to the bottom, which means Mario's earned his place out of the tournament. And that's the entirety of round 2. Or I guess it would have been 3 if you'd counted the round where everyone got a bye. So yeah, that means that in this episode we just covered the entirety of the bracket, which means next episode is going to be a little bit short because there's only going to be 4 matches in it. Until then, bye.